Real women.
Real talk.
Real messy.
This is Messy Midlife. Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Messy Midlife. Hi, ladies.
Hey,
Haha.
guys.
We thought we would chat today about the holidays since the holidays are upon us. It is here, and I'm having some feelings about holidays this year for lots of different reasons. And I know you guys are too. So I thought that it was just a useful thing because holidays really do shift in midlife when you become responsible for all of the things. And let's be mindful that people might be listening to this with littles in the car perhaps. So I think we should be mindful of all of the things that we might say that we are responsible for that littles could be hearing.
Okay.
So I think maybe the first place to start would be for us to share a little bit about how we spend our holidays, even what holidays we celebrate, because we don't necessarily all celebrate the same holidays. So I can start. We celebrate Christmas, but we're not a religious family per se. We don't follow a specific tradition related to Christmas. For us, we always focus more on just the time of year and the opportunity to be with family and to celebrate and the fun and the magic that Christmas comes along with. So for us, it's a secular Christmas that we celebrate, really.
I was raised Catholic, and when I would spend Christmas with my Catholic family, there was the traditional going to Mass on Christmas Eve. And I haven't been able to do that for a really long time since my grandma passed away, my godmother passed away. We've not had that element of it. And so that's kind of sad for me that that's no longer a part of my life, but it's also not something that's necessarily, it's more the tradition aspect of it that was special for me than the actual Mass. And in Mexico, we would actually celebrate the biggest part of the Christmas celebration is done Christmas Eve into midnight. And that's when, we would have gifts, and it's very different than here. But now it's all much more similar to yours, Jen. And this year in particular is a little different because we've opted not to travel, which means it's a very, very calm and quiet, most likely, Christmas. We'll see.
My dad decided when I was about 4 or 5, he told his family that we were no longer traveling on Christmas. And my family, I grew up about an hour and a half from my extended family, from where my parents grew up. So it was never that we had to get on a plane and do a big thing, but it was more of some expectations that we go to people's houses on Christmas Day. And my dad very early on said, "No, we are not taking little children away to go do grown-up Christmas things when they really just wanna play with their presents and hang out and spend the day in their pajamas." And I was so grateful for that, that as a child, that became the normal
Mm.
expectation, and I said, moving forward, as I said, "I'm doing this too." And so we don't not travel at all around the holidays, but we don't go anywhere on Christmas Day.
That's exactly what happened for us. Last year we traveled, and this year my son said, "I'd really like to be home for Christmas." And we said, "Okay." And I'm really happy that we're honoring that for him because he's 11 going on 12, and who knows how much longer we have to do
Right.
that.
Yeah.
I love not having expectation around the holidays. Like Thanksgiving also. I feel like and I used to do this. You'd spend all week prepping and all day cooking and I mean days cooking. And it was such a stressful thing. You didn't really get to enjoy it. And I really let go of that. And last year was great. We just said, what do we each like what's our favorite food that we want to eat? And let's make it and let's just have a like really leisurely morning, stayed in pajamas all day, watched movies, made a pie, watched another movie, ate a little bit, blobbed on the couch. And I feel like that's what the holidays are supposed to be about. I grew up conservative Jewish. So we always like celebrated Christmas. We went to my godparents' house and helped them decorate their tree. And we celebrated again, very like non-religiously, both Hanukkah and Christmas. But when I was growing up, we were always in Hawaii. for that part of the winter. So it was really different. We were never at home for Hanukkah or Christmas. I never had a tree until my daughter came to live with us. This is our 3rd year that we've had a tree. We call it a Christmas tree slash Hanukkah bush.
Had to look up a Hanukkah bush the other day when you said Hanukkah bush. I was like, "Wait, what
Yeah.
is this?"
So we have like lots of like blue and gold ornaments, and then we have our star as a, light up Star of David on top. And we have some regular Christmas ornaments, and we have like a menorah and a dreidel, and we have menorahs, and so we lit our candles. Actually, last night was the first night, so we lit our candles for the first night of Hanukkah. But it was really it was really different being we'd always be in Hawaii. So it was so relaxed, and it was just basically living on the beach. It was not the same, I guess, amount of focus on it, and definitely not the same amount of consumerism, especially, I was born in 78. So all through the 80s and 90s, there wasn't that same like, oh, let's go look at all the lights and, the Christmas tree show. Like there just wasn't all of that stuff around it. And so that's what we actually started doing again, is going back to Hawaii, because it's just super mellow, super relaxed. There's no big to do. It's kind of just like every other day because you wake up, you're jump in the ocean, jump in the pool, jump in the hot tub, maybe eat a shave ice, snack on some fish and veggies. And it's just super mellow. Like we don't go anywhere. We don't leave the property of the hotel. Like we just enjoy each other. And I feel like that's what gets missed so much with all of the travel and all of the plans is you don't really get to spend that quality time. You're so busy with logistics.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that I love about Thanksgiving is that obviously can be completely submerged in expectations and logistics for sure. But there is a greater opportunity to embrace the togetherness versus Christmas can become so overshadowed by the consumerism and the stress of I really want to show these people that I love them and I appreciate them. And the traditional way of doing that is with gifts. And then that becomes stressful. And so I really do love Thanksgiving for that reason that we don't have the gift aspect of it. It's just the presence of it.
I really mellowed out on the gifts this year. I think the last 2 years, again, because it was my first experience having a child with the holidays, and she grew up celebrating Christmas. So I went really overboard in 23 and 24. I mean, like multiple Hanukkah gifts every night and a bunch of Christmas gifts. And I just told her this year, I said, your Christmas present is 10 days in Hawaii. That's your Christmas present this year. And even with Hanukkah presents, like little things. She loves fun colored press on nails and lip glosses and stuff like that and perfumes. And so it was just little inexpensive little things. And I didn't, you know, have 7 presents from my parents and my sisters, like all of that, right? Like I really mellowed out and it feels really good to do that. Like not being a wrapping frenzy and a buying frenzy and figuring out when everything's coming and where you're getting everything. There's a lot more peace and calm with it
Mhm.
in my brain for sure.
My family decided a long time ago that the gifts were not for the adults, the gifts were for kids. And so once you reached a certain level of maturity, gifts were no longer expected for anybody. It was more about just being together. The family I married into had to have the conversation. It was just last year that that conversation was had. And I do think that a lot of people feel a relief of not needing to shop for something that what do you get somebody who has their own money and 24/7 access to Amazon and whatever it is that they want, they just get? And at the same time, there is a little bit of maybe missing the opportunity to just when you're out and about, think like seeing somebody and thinking of them. And what I've told myself is we can still do that. If we see something or think of something, we can still get that for that person or give them something nice, but we don't have to do it. And we can always get it and give it to them just because we think that they would like it and because we were thinking of them, not because it's expected because of the holidays. And there is part of me that's still the part who really likes the magic aspect of Christmas. And I read something a long time ago about how the reason that kids like Christmas so much, it's because their parents will join them in play and in the magic for an extended period of time in a way that they won't in regular time. And that's part of what we connect with and where the joy of Christmas and excitement and of everything about Christmas comes from is that connection through magic and play that doesn't exist in other parts of life. And I still get stuck with that because I have memories related to the magic and the play and the imagination and all of the things that I would just get so lost in as a child. And I still have this drive and desire to create that and more with my daughter than was ever available to me just because I have more resources because I was older when I had my daughter than my parents were when they had me. And so I struggle to walk the balance between wanting to give her all of that magic and make it this big, exciting, wonderful core memory of her childhood. And recognizing the things that I'm creating for her, for expectations for what she does when she's my age. And I say this as I am feeling the aches and pains in my legs and my feet from my 10 hours I spent finishing the Buckeyes that I make every year because I make so many for so many people. And it's a lot. It's a big thing. It's a big to do that I make every year. We give them to everybody in our neighborhood, all of her teachers, all of our, friends, people. If they have an impact on our life or they matter to us, we show up. And then it's honestly, it's not even everybody because I don't ship them because they're not super shippable. They would need to be shipped like with ice packs or whatever. And I'm just not set up for that. So it's not even that I'm able to do that. It's just for the people who are local. And that's part of the magic. I always like my notes to them because they have peanut butter in them and a ton of sugar. I always say, like, here's my, as a naturopathic doctor, you always have to say, here's the allergy notice. They're vegan and gluten free, but they're full of sugar, peanuts, and a little bit of magic. And the truth is, there is some magic in them, right? Aliza has had them. Karen, I will save a box for you for when you're able to come out here so you get some of the magic since I can't deliver them to you in person. There is a box waiting for you. And the truth is, like, there is a little bit of magic in them, right? And
Jen,
it's a lot of work.
in my
She's got them right there.
no, I don't.
Oh,
You
they're
know what?
empty.
How many? Because I put them on my desk and I was like,
No.
great, they're not going in the kitchen. Araya's not going to eat them. She and her friend slept in the guest bedroom where my office is on Friday night. And I come in on Saturday morning to get my phone and they're all gone.
Why did you not tell me that yesterday?
Because you were making 8 gajillion of them and I wasn't going to be like, I need more. I'm fine without them. I had a few, but I was like, this is that. Those are for both of us. They're not just for you.
All right. So an aside, I will probably have a bit extra. So when you drop Fozzie off, there will probably be another box for you. Yes, you can't steal. You're not allowed to steal holiday magic. Come on.
And Mia and I shared them, and I was like, but they were for you and Mia. Anyway,
Huh.
there is magic in the Buckeyes. I love them.
So I feel I weirdly, instead of feeling like the gratitude right now that you're feeling, Karen, for having a holiday of not going anywhere, small family, that's it. I feel a little bit sad. And I know that mine might be connected to bigger things than the holidays. Like my parents just can't travel to come out here. My dad can't do it anymore. And so I don't know if there's sadness because I've had my last Christmas with my dad, unless we're going there. And so that might be part of it. I don't know. For some reason, I just feel like, and maybe it's because I always had my grandmother. My one grandmother was always, she spent Christmas Day with us. That was part of it. And so I don't know if part of me feels like my daughter's missing out on something if she doesn't have a grandparent here with her. And her other grandmother alternates between houses that she goes to on Christmas Day. I don't know. I'm in a different place right now than you guys where I'm
I
feeling a little
I
bit sad about.
I would say there's definitely sadness for me as well, especially with what feels like all of these layers of my childhood that just keep falling off as I get older, right? When we lose really central family members and traditions change, like what I was sharing earlier. And as my mom also is getting to a place where travel is just, it's not as accessible for her as it used to be. My son gave me a really beautiful lesson when I was really worried about telling him that his grandma wasn't going to be coming for Christmas. And he definitely expressed sadness, and I was ready, to show up for him and be the container for his grief. And so I checked in with him a little bit after that, and he said, I am sad that grandma's not coming. And it's been a really long time since it's just been the three of us for Christmas, and I'm really looking forward to that. And so, one, I was just so relieved and grateful that he, was able to process whatever came up for him and then move into, okay, so what is here? And so I think it's a matter of holding both. And I was really grateful to him for sharing that with me and for me to be able to move forward and be excited and focused on what it was that we did have and we do have that will be different because the dynamic's always different when there are more people versus less people. So I don't think you're alone, I guess is what I'm trying to say, is that there is sadness in all of the losses that have led to what the holidays look like now
Mhm.
and what it means moving forward, just like what you're describing.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the opportunity to create something new for your families, though. I mean, I totally understand the concern about our kids not having that experience and that magic, but I think that's also where we get to create what works for our families with them, right? So that's part of why we've chosen to go to Hawaii year after year is because that magic is there. There's magic in parents not working and being able to run and jump in the ocean with you and play in the pool and, like, having that time together, right? Where
Mhm.
it just is all day together, and, yeah, there are, like, the other kids and cousins and stuff where the kids are running around with, but also being able to say, like, "Hey, mom, you wanna go snorkeling? You wanna go jump in the ocean?" And being able to just say yes, because during so much of our day to day, normally, we don't get to say yes to those things. So
Mhm.
I don't know, I think we have the opportunity to create what we want to create, just like
Yeah.
you were saying, Jen, with presents, my family and I, when we see something, it doesn't matter if it's a birthday or the holidays, we see something that really strikes us for the other person, we just buy it and give it to them. And that's also taken a lot of the pressure off the holidays. We don't do gifts really on birthdays or holidays anymore because we just do it when it naturally arises.
Mhm.
So I think, like, shifting into something that also feels really natural and organic for your family, it doesn't have to be what it was, right? You get to create your own.
And I 100% agree, and I think that that is more accessible as kids get older. My kid's
Mhm.
still she's 5.5, and so I think that that will likely be the case for our family in 5 to 6 years, that we'll be looking at, depending on how skiing goes this year, because she wants to learn how to ski. I see the very real possibility that our Christmases in the future are gonna be spent at a ski resort, and that skiing will be a big part of it, or if skiing doesn't go well, something else, in the future. But right now, I don't think that that's really possible. We're still seeing and learning what everybody else is doing. My daughter asked us the other day if we celebrated Hanukkah because one of her friends, one of her besties, um, has a parent who is Jewish and a parent who is not, and so has like a little bit of a both mix. And just learning more about these things. Like last year, we were spending more time going to a Unitarian Universalist church, and there was a lot more talk about all of the different holidays and all the different traditions and everything that could be celebrated. And so learning more about that, but then also seeing what other people are doing. I've gotten more questions this year than any other year of why we don't have all of the decorations that everybody has in their yard around Halloween and Christmas. And I'm a person who's more likely to decorate for Christmas than Halloween, and I'm still not a big decorator because I don't have the time yet, and I'm only just now accepting in the last year or so that we're probably staying in this house and in this location for an extended period of time. So I have been a wandering soul for my whole life, and I'm never willing to get more than I can easily transport to the next location. And I'm not willing to buy things specifically to fit the location that I'm in because I'm also careful with how I spend my money, right? And so the 10,000 multi-story Santa Clauses and, Stay Puft Marshmallow Men around my house that are out everywhere. I'm getting a lot of, "Why don't we do that? I want more. I wanna do more. I wanna do more." And so I am working on helping her understand, well, we get to choose what we want and we need to choose what works for our family. And if you want to do that when you're older, you can do that. And that's not what I'm choosing to do right now. We can find a mix of what you like and what I like and what your dad likes. But yeah, I think that as she gets older, it'll be more possible to make different traditions. Like, guys, I'm really looking forward to being able to hopefully institute, what is it called? The Christmas book flood that they do in the Nordic countries, where everybody just gets a book on Christmas Eve and they sit around in their pajamas and they read a book and eat chocolate. And that's like what they do on Christmas Eve instead of like this big, all of the things. That sounds like heaven to me.
That's you.
It's
Yeah.
Yeah.
perfection.
Yeah. Can I sit in cozy clothes and read a book and have my favorite people around me and give me a warm beverage as well? Yes, I will be perfect. I'll knit you some socks to help keep you warm.
On a side note, I should bring the menorah over on Saturday when I drop Fozzie off, and we
You
should,
should. She was asking about it. Yeah.
because I think the last time we did that with her, she was probably too small to remember it
She
really.
I told her that she had lit the menorah with you, when she was 3, I think, and of course, yeah, she doesn't
Yeah,
remember, so she would love to
yeah, we'll
do
do
that.
that on Saturday. I love lighting the candles. Like, I love lighting the Hanukkah candles. Raya doesn't know the blessings that you say. So last night I sang them and then I showed them to her and told her what each of them meant. I mean, I had to look it up. I don't just know that. But I love that tradition. Like, it's again, it's not religious for me. It's just family. And I like having that together. And I like seeing her excited for something new, right? She didn't grow up celebrating Hanukkah. So it's like really fun to see that.
I'm curious if you guys have any of the issues or if you've had them and if they've started to melt away with the comparison and the what other people are doing or the keeping up with the Joneses.
We have that come up a lot with the phone because we have not given him a phone yet. I haven't seen it as much with Christmas except for last Christmas because everybody got a phone.
Mhm.
And so we just have to have the conversation that, every family is different and every
Yeah.
family has different needs and values, and these are ours. And it fades pretty quickly, but that's where it's come up the most. Is around the phone. And I'm guessing whoever didn't get a phone last Christmas is going to get a phone this Christmas, and we're going to see that happen again because he's still not getting a
Mhm.
phone. Poor guy.
I wouldn't have thought of that, but that is something, I mean, that comes up every day, not just at Christmas. All my friends have phones. I said, well, but that's their parents' decision and it's not a necessity. So
Yeah. I wonder sometimes how much people actually like some of the stuff, the extra stuff that they do, like the over the top things, and how much it's driven by some sort of expectation for other people. And how much would people do if everybody just like said, "Hey, let's do what we actually want to do," and how much would there be people who really truly love everything about it, love the process, you know? Um, because I'm thinking about even like the whole Buckeye making extravaganza. Would I still do it? And I probably would because of the joy that it brings other people. I had a friend who was like, maybe you could put less in each box so it didn't take you as long. I was like, yeah, but then it wouldn't be that much because I don't feel like it's that much anyway. And then is that really
your
worth
daughter
it?
and her best friend eat them and you don't have any anyway.
Well, and we're like the families where there's more than, they're like 4 or 5 people in a family and, all these different things. And I'm like, would it even feel worth it to me if I didn't give as much so that I could know that they were having like a little bit of joy for an extended period of time or a binge of joy, whichever they want.
But that's something that makes you happy, right? I think that it all comes down to, for whatever reason, right? Like, yes, it's a totally laborious process, but I think one of your
You
love, like,
love giving it to
is
people.
giving. I mean, I'm the same way. Like, I love that's why I went so crazy with presents. I love seeing somebody get something or like having something that they enjoy. So I think it's all about what brings you that joy and happiness. And I think there are some people that all the decorations and the huge tree, like, it does really bring them joy.
Hmm.
But I think we've also been trained with what the expectations
I
are.
think that's a lovely call to action to reflect on what is it that would really make each of us happy during this holiday season, and to consider what you just said, Eliza, that we are conditioned to think that we know that something makes us happy. And maybe it does, but to consider the possibility that maybe that's not actually coming from my own truth. It's something that I've acquired from my environment, and then looking a little bit deeper. What is it that would make me happy? Even if you don't have to change anything for this holiday season. I think that this season of life is helping us to really reconcile the differences between what has been imposed on us and what is really nourishing to our souls. I'll definitely be taking some time to think, because I will have so much extra time without travel and without hosting. And that's the gift I think that we will have this year, is what do we want to do? What
Yeah.
feels really good to do for Christmas?
I think it's going to open up a lot for you of just like that calmness and trying to figure out like what's tradition versus what's habitual.
Yeah, that's a nice summary. What's
Yeah.
tradition versus what's habitual. I love that.
I'll be thinking of you guys from the beach in Hawaii on Christmas Day.
Well, happy holidays, ladies. Happy holidays, everybody. Hope that you're celebrating it in the way that feels lovely and amazing to you, regardless of what that happens to look like. Even if you're not celebrating anything at all, other than the fact that you don't have to go anywhere and there's no expectations of you from anybody. All right.
And nowhere.
Take care, guys. Love you.
Love you.
If our messy is your kind of messy, we'd love for you to rate, review, and follow or subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
We'd also love to know what's on your mind. If you were to join us, what would we be talking about? Email us at messymidlifepodcast@gmail.com or message us on Instagram or TikTok.